I recently did a video on Alphabet or Google stock's rapid pace of innovations, to which one subscriber of Unrivaled Investing, Eli, he wrote, "I love you and all, Daniel, but we're screwed." And he's talking about just the dramatic pace of innovation with AI plus robotics and how it's set to disrupt a lot of jobs, a lot of industries, but there's also the room for opportunity. There's also the room for potential for people to benefit from this. So I think it is important to recognize there's a lot of change that's going to be happening in the years ahead, and how can you best position yourself. So in this video, we're going to talk about who's potentially going to be disrupted, because I think there's a lot of different markets that will be. I think when in doubt, you should assume AI plus robotics will impact your industry. It'll impact most industries out there. And so then the question is, how do you potentially benefit from it as well, which we'll also talk about in this video. And so one example of a industry that's going to be disrupted is call centers, which employ an estimated 2 to 3 million people in the US, represents around a $300 billion global industry. This is not a small industry. You could see the stocks of several call center businesses losing between 30 to 80% of their market value just this past year. That is a structural hit to this business. This is not a cyclical impact. This is not a one-off. This is a fundamental change. I don't think a lot of these businesses will recover because of the impact from AI. You have the chairperson of OpenAI running Sierra.ai with the sole focus of disrupting the call center space, because he recognizes that the AI doesn't have to wait a few minutes to answer the customer call. So even if the AI isn't as good as the best, customer service reps, just the fact that it can answer the customer inquiries once someone calls does result in better performance scores. So it does result in market share disruption. So you're going to see that. By the way, the AI also costs less than the best customer service reps. You see Khan Academy launching their AI product Conmigo to help people, with their homework, help with tutoring. So Chegg, another public company with a sizable tutoring business, that's lost around 80% of its market value this past year. I view this as well as a structural impact. Alphabet also launched Gemini 2.0. One of their features is a text to image editing feature where you can say, hey, turn this car into a convertible. How does that not impact the 200,000 graphic designers in the US? And that's around a $60 billion global industry. I think this is super important because, I know a graphic designer. I like him, and, he's a good guy, and this is his job. And I'm sure he has a mortgage to pay. So he's looking at this, and this is arguably a scary threat. I don't think it's going away. I think if anything, it's going to get worse over time. And so how do you deal with that? What is the right, mentality to potentially overcome this challenge in the years ahead? And so we'll talk about that towards the end of this video, but I think you need to first deal with reality, accept it as it is, which is that you're facing disruption. One market where you've already started to see it is with Waymo. That's Alphabet's autonomous vehicle division, now delivering more or taking market share, and clearly it's now has equal market share or a little bit more than Lyft. And so Uber's market share has also been trending down. This is in San Francisco. This is just one market, but clearly Waymo and Tesla have global aspirations, and logistics is a huge market with over 150 million workers globally. They will have to tackle different parts of that market over time: freight, food, delivery, mobility, but they will. And it's leveraging this AI to tackle one bit at a time. And I suspect they will continue to succeed with that. I did a video recently on Uber, which has sold off based on this news. I suspect it's personally overdone, that sell-off, just because, you still have these tens of millions of customers. It's not like they're turning off the app right away. They're still using it. They're still using their marketplace. But long-term, that is a disruptive threat of, hey, how many autonomous vehicle fleets is Uber now working with? Because that is a different margin profile if, let's say, you're only working with 3 autonomous fleets versus millions of independent contractors that are coming to the market. So that's the uncertainty, is how many autonomous fleets will there be in the future. Another example, OnlyFans last year generated over $6 billion in gross revenue across their platform. That's a lot of, men that clearly love ugly Christmas sweaters. Maybe that's just it. And there's also an estimate, this figure's frankly somewhat, I'm shocked by it. There's an estimated 1.4 million American women creators on OnlyFans. So that's a lot of women that didn't see their dads growing up or something. Not to put it down, I'm just saying, that's a lot of interesting content being posted. 1.4 million American women And like, it's hard to, like that image I just showed you, that's an AI. And so you're going to be able to have conversations with it at any time of the day. It'll be cheaper and you'll get the pictures and videos that you want with it. And it's a game changer. And for those, what I'll let you choose your own morality on this, but for those 1 million plus women in America, that's their job or one of their income streams. And that's a disruption. That's potentially a huge disruption for them. So I would say that's something that they're worried about, and for good reason. Like you're already seeing signs that it could be extremely disruptive. So I look at this, I'm thinking, how do you potentially benefit from it? Who are the potential beneficiaries? What's the right mindset that you need to have to potentially thrive in this disruptive time? First of all, this is not financial advice. Also, quick plug, recently Santosh, a premium member of the Unrivaled Investing community, wrote, "I really enjoy following your letters and your investing journey. This was one of the best investment decisions I've ever made. Can't thank you enough." He's talking about Unrivaled Investing. If you're looking for compelling ideas, come check out Unrivaled Investing. And so my chief concern as I share this video is that unemployment is near a record low, around 4%. And, could you have the technological developments happen so fast that you see this sort of uptick, this dramatic, change in unemployment? And, there's a saying that a recession is when your friend's unemployed, a depression is when you're unemployed. And that's the concern, is could you see a depressionary level of unemployment, 20% plus unemployment? That's a huge shift, but I'm showing you that AI plus robotics in the next decade is clearly going to impact nearly every profession out there. I'm hard pressed to think of those professions that won't be impacted. There are some where it's like, maybe a robot plumber and that sort of thing, but that's just a matter of time, in my opinion. And so I think a lot of professions are going to be disrupted, and the pace of innovation is not slowing down. It's accelerating. Now, one example of a company that has benefited, and I've done a few videos on it, is AppLovin. In full disclosure, I own some shares of AppLovin. That's an example of leveraging AI to help with marketing, moving from gaming now to e-commerce. And that's opening up a huge market for them, and they see huge growth. So that's an example of leveraging AI to be a winner. And I think Tesla is another example where this will clearly help their business, not only with autonomous vehicles, but also with their robot, Optimus. They expected to roll out in households near you in just the next few years. And I expect it to be rolled out to a lot of households. One additional benefit, recently OpenAI launched Sora, which is their text to video creator. And now anyone with a ChatGPT Plus subscription, $20 a month, can create these videos. This is a game changer. Think about all those movies, that content that historically wasn't made because of the gatekeeping by the major movie studios, where they'd say, nah, we don't want to make your script. We don't have the budget for it, XYZ reason why. Now the price is so low to create content that you can, and there's going to be an explosion of new content creators where they can bring their visions to life using AI. I think that's a huge benefit. That is an example of the jobs that you don't see that are going to be created. That's hard to anticipate. And one of the indirect beneficiaries is YouTube, because how will those new content creators get discovered? It's going to be uploading the data to those who control and have significant demand aggregation. So when you have all these viewers, hey, I need to get my content in front of somebody. Hey, I'm going to start by uploading it to YouTube. That's where I'm going to get the initial, and then maybe I start some additional, sort of subscription or something like that. Just because a company, though, is expected to grow because of AI, it is important to recognize that just because you have that fundamental growth, you still have valuation, and valuation can go against you if you get too frothy, and that could result in potentially years of headwind where your returns actually stink, because you're combining, yes, strong fundamentals, but overly frothy valuation. So I think the single most important thing that you can do, and this is the main reason why I wanted to make this video, is to have a new mindset, which is to have a mindset of saying, like I talked to my folks recently about this, and I'm hopeful that, Ray Kurzweil's right in terms of longevity escape velocity, and that, maybe you can get people where they live longer and longer based on this acceleration in technological developments. But I think the single most important thing that folks can do It's not necessarily trying a new supplement or some new product. I think that's going to be happening in the background with this innovation. The single most important thing that you can do is try new products. And I don't get any sort of kickback or anything like that from OpenAI. I'm sharing this because I truly believe it. I think it's important for you to not just be a consumer of content, but for you to think about, how can I increase my skill set? When I think about my friend who's a graphic designer, I look at that and I think there's going to be a lot less employment in that field over time. Maybe it won't hit him. Maybe he'll dodge that bullet, but it's going to get harder. And it's going to be certainly harder to say, hey, you want a raise this next Christmas. That's not going to happen when AI makes your life this much more challenging. So I think in this environment, the single best thing you can do is explore your passions that can be enabled with AI. Learn new skill sets. And it's never been easier to learn new things. For example, in the past, graphic designers used to, say, hey, Daniel, I'd love to help you make your thumbnail. I'll charge XYZ. Now I'm using AI to do it. That's an example of me. Yes, it's disrupting that field, but it's learning a new skill set. And I think, you can do the same thing as well. Just explore, and for $20 a month, it's kind of crazy, the power at your fingertips. I'm personally trying to disrupt myself with AI. And I'm the co-founder of AI Ticker Chat, which is, taking AI to say, hey, how close to analyzing a business can you get to, in terms of my own skill set, my own experience, working in a $1 billion hedge fund and being in the industry for some time, previously a CFO of a startup. So how close can we get where AI could say, hey, you're doing just as good of a job as what I would have done? Now it's not all the way there yet, but we have some exciting stuff to be showing you. And, next month we'll have a whole new product to show you about. So that's AI Ticker Chat. There's a link below, whole new rebrand expected. I think one of the key aspects to consider is that U.S. farming was previously 50% of the workforce, roughly 50%, maybe 40 to 50% in the 1850s. Go back even further, it was even higher. And today it's under 2%. And if you had asked the farmers then, hey, what are you going to do? What's the job that you're going to do if, in theory, unemployment for farming goes from, or employment of farming goes from 50% to 2%? A lot of people would be shocked. They would say, well, I don't possibly fathom what the jobs are going to be. And I think it is important to have that humility and modesty to say, I don't know what those new jobs will be, because there will be new jobs, just like there will be new movie creators, new content creators. So I think that's where I'm getting to the prior point of, you need to lean into learning new skill sets and just having an open mind, read a little bit, learn a little bit. And I think also, lastly, there is this possibility that we enter a golden age. And, my response to Eli was be optimistic, always look at the bright side of life. Because the truth is, the alternative is less fun. If you're just going to be worried about AI taking your job, yeah, you can do that, but it's better to, take action, seize the day, try to have some control over your journey. And I think by either learning new skill sets or aligning yourself with companies that are clearly going to benefit from this AI revolution, that maybe you can benefit on your journey from what I think is a radical development, how AI and robotics is going to influence everything. I hope this video talking about this dramatic revolution has been helpful for you. If so, please make a point of hitting that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. You've been watching Unrivaled Investing.